I want to throw some inside information. I want to put on my insider hat if you don't mind.
Please do.
Kevin Durant is playing Game 7 for Oklahoma City. If you recall, I was right there baseline. The game ends. Russell Westbrook storms off the court. Kevin Durant stays on hugging everybody else. And what does he say on the court at the time? I'll see you soon. A month later, he's in a Golden State Warriors uniform.
So I know this video is going to get a lot of hate, and I know a lot of people are going to call me salty. So I'll just come right out and say it. I am a little salty because at the end of the day, I love basketball and I usually love greatness. And let's be honest here, every single thing Kevin Durant did on the court this season was greatness. So Kevin, congrats. You're one of the best players on the planet and you're going to retire as an NBA legend. But I just hate how this whole situation played out. If you want to call me salty, I'm fine with that. I understand Kevin Durant is a grown man. I understand he's capable of making his own decisions. But that doesn't mean I can't disagree with those decisions. So today, we're going to look at the controversy surrounding Kevin Durant's move to the Warriors. We're going to listen to some of the most connected people in the NBA tell us that what Kevin Durant did was incredibly shady and that what he did to his teammates was just disgusting. And after that, we're going to listen to NBA Commissioner Adam Silver admit that if the Warriors swept the Cavaliers, or if most of the games were just blowouts, then the NBA was in trouble. So this is going to be a juicy video, guys. I hope you're ready. And by the way, I never said thank you for 800,000 subscribers. So as a thank you, I'm going to be doing a giveaway on my Instagram. I'm going to choose 3 winners, and the 3 winners can choose any single basketball shoe you want, and I'll buy it for you as long as it's under $200, which is reasonable. So to enter, just go follow my Instagram at Korzemba. Link is in the description. And for now, before we cover the shadiness I was talking about before we listen to Adam Silver's remarks, let's start with the biggest counter argument that Kevin Durant supporters have used to defend his decision. The fact that he was justified because LeBron James did the same thing. So let's look at this objectively. LeBron left a Cleveland Cavaliers team that had just lost in the second round of the playoffs after LeBron carried the Cavs to 61 wins. This team had absolutely no future. Their second best player was Mo Williams, and the rest of their starting lineup was made up of a 33-year-old Antoine Jamison, a 34-year-old Anthony Parker, and a 37-year-old Shaq. Meanwhile, Kevin Durant left an Oklahoma City Thunder team that was up 3-1 in the Western Conference Finals before losing to the Golden State Warriors. The Thunder had an in-his-prime Russell Westbrook, who just won the MVP this year, and were a team filled with young talent. They had Serge Ibaka in his prime, a 22-year-old Steven Adams, a 23-year-old Enes Kanter, a 24-year-old Dion Waiters, the list goes on and on here. So already we can see that LeBron was basically forced to leave a horrible situation as the Cavs front office had failed him, while Durant, well, he left a Thunder team that was filled with the potential to be great for the foreseeable future. On top of this, LeBron left for a Miami Heat team that had a single star on its roster, Dwayne Wade. Of course, he was joined by Chris Bosh, but that's the point here. LeBron left to go and build a new championship contender in Miami. On the other hand, Kevin Durant left to join a Golden State team that had just set the NBA record for wins in a season with 73. This team was already in place. They had the MVP in Steph Curry to go along with all-stars Klay Thompson and Draymond Green. So while LeBron had to help build the Heat up, Durant walked into a super team that basically had no chance to fail. And speaking of that super team, we of course know that last summer KD joined the same Golden State team that beat him in the Western Conference Finals after he choked away a 3-1 lead. And sure, Russ didn't play his best either, but let me emphasize here that Kevin Durant choked. In game 5 he shot 12 for 31, and in game 6 he shot 10 for 31. To me, this just proves what we've all been saying is true. If you can't beat them, join them. Not only could Durant not beat Golden State on his own, but he also couldn't beat LeBron, as before this season, LeBron completely owned Durant, as LeBron was 17-4 against KD when their two teams met. And with all of this said, the worst part about this to me is that on his podcast, Adrian Wojciechowski reported Russell Westbrook and Thunder teammates were bothered by Kevin Durant's friendship with Draymond Green, especially during the playoff series. Woj also said that Durant and Green had been texting and talking all season long. Now, can you take a guess on what they were talking about? Well, again, let's listen to Stephen A. Smith, who was sitting courtside, tell us what really went down.
The game ends. Russell Westbrook storms off the court. Kevin Durant stays on hugging everybody else. And what does he say on the court at the time? I'll see you soon.
So yeah, when LeBron walked off the court after Game 6, he was very mad, which was understandable. He was just denied another chance at a championship, which is also why it's weird that Kevin Durant did not look mad at all. Instead, he didn't really seem to care that his team had just lost. He was too busy hugging his future teammates. So if you don't think any of what I just mentioned is shady, if you don't think the Thunder deserve more from their star, well then, I don't know what to tell you. I don't understand how people can say we as fans do not have a right to be mad at Kevin Durant's decision. How do you support a man who did this to his own teammates, especially Russ? I mean, there's a reason why Russ has not been talking to KD since his decision. The two were teammates for 8 years. They rose to NBA stardom together. They battled the Heat in the NBA Finals together. KD called Russ his brother during his MVP speech.
I know you guys think I forgot Russ, but I could speak all night about Russell, an emotional guy who will run through a wall for me. I don't take it for granted. I love you, man. I'm the first to have your back through it all.
He defended Russ when Mark Cuban said that Russ wasn't a star.
Were you aware of Mark Cuban's comments before the game when he said Kevin was the only superstar on this team?
He's an idiot.
And then, to put it bluntly, Kevin Durant stabbed Russell Westbrook in the back. That's where all these snake memes have come from. While Russ thought him and Kevin were in this together, Durant went behind his back and joined their biggest competitor. And not only that, he did it after texting Draymond and other Warrior players all year behind his teammates' backs. And oh yeah, after he gave up on his team and joined Golden State, KD also proved he was a hypocrite. As just look at this tweet in 2010 where KD blasted LeBron for joining the Heat. And sure, that was years ago, but doesn't that tell us something? In 2010, Kevin Durant truly believed he could build a championship team around himself. In 2016, he decided that was too hard. So he joined a team that would guarantee him a championship. And then, when asked about his thoughts on the fact that the playoffs have been filled with blowouts and were for the most part uncompetitive and boring, Durant said this.
Relay that to the fans who feel upset. If you don't like it, don't watch it.
If you don't like it, don't watch? I don't think he could have made a more ridiculous statement if he tried. This is one of the stars of the NBA, one of the faces of the NBA, telling us, the fans, that if we don't like blowouts, then don't watch basketball. Can't we all agree that the league and their players should not want blowouts like this? They should want some sort of suspense and drama in the NBA playoffs and especially the finals. But the thing is, Kevin, you're right. There's a good chance that casual fans are not going to watch anymore. And that's a problem you created with your decision. Because since this year's finals weren't competitive at all, since it's very possible, if not likely, that the Warriors will win at least the next 2, if not 3 or 4 championships, then it's obvious that the NBA has a problem here. And NBA Commissioner Adam Silver agrees with this. So let's listen to Colin Cowherd and Adam Silver on Colin Cowherd's show.
What if Golden State rolls Cleveland in 4? Would you even drive home saying we got a little problem here, an imbalance?
Well, if that were the case, we'd have an imbalance.
Adam Silver said this before the finals, and he admitted it because he expected the finals to be competitive.
I've read some comments recently, unnamed general managers and others, saying we just can't compete. I think that's crazy.
Which to me shows that Adam Silver, just like us, was in denial over just how much better the Warriors are than every other team in this league. This Warriors team is just too good. Sure, it might have taken them a little bit to learn how to play with each other, but now in their last 33 total games, they've gone 31-2. They went 16-1 in the playoffs, and in the only game they lost in the playoffs, we can all agree the Cavs played the best they possibly could. And since I already know this argument is going to come, let me be clear here. I understand the concept of super teams in the NBA is nothing new. The so-called parity we all want has never really existed. Playoffs such as the one we saw in 2011, where several teams could have won the championship, are the exception, not the rule. Which is why some people are arguing that we've always had super teams like this. If anything, the dynasties built by the Celtics with Bird, the Lakers with Magic, and the Bulls with Jordan helped draw more interest in the league than ever before. And I also want to make it clear that I'm not talking about the NBA Finals ratings here. I mean, no matter what, when you have LeBron James going against the Warriors, people are going to watch. Instead, I'm talking about regular season ratings. Who's going to be watching primetime NBA games in November if they think the championship is already decided? Right now, it's easier to watch an NBA basketball game than it's ever been before. We have primetime primetime games every week. We have League Pass. We have millions of people illegally streaming games. But with that said, we also have more content options than ever before. For instance, the NHL, a league the NBA has never really seen as a true rival, has seen its Stanley Cup final ratings up about 75% from a year ago. And I think there's a reason for that. The playoffs this year were boring and more people started to watch hockey. And yes, while I just admitted that super teams are nothing new, here's the thing. Those super teams that I just mentioned all had at least one serious contender to their throne, and they usually had young teams full of potential that were ready to challenge them. Let's just list a few examples here. So from 1980 to 1988, the Lakers won 5 of the 9 championships and the Celtics won 3. But even though those two teams did dominate, the league was full of suspense and drama. For one thing, the Lakers and Celtics had each other and they formed a fierce rivalry. Also in the early 80s, we saw the Sixers led by Julius Erving and Moses Malone form a legitimate third contender for the title, and Philly even won the 1983 championship. Then as the decade moved on, we saw young teams full of promise such as the Pistons and Bulls begin to take shape, and fans were able to talk about what those rosters needed to push them into the championship discussion. That's what drives the interest of NBA fans, and this has been a constant in recent league history. Just moving ahead to the Chicago Bulls dynasty, we again find teams that could seriously compete with Jordan's Bulls. I mean, the 92 Bulls were pushed to 7 games by the Knicks in the second round before they faced a loaded Blazers team in the finals. 93 saw league MVP Charles Barkley go head-to-head against Jordan in the finals with an awesome Suns team. Then the 96 Bulls won 72 games and still lost 2 games in the finals to an in their prime Gary Payton and Shawn Kemp. And finally, 97 and 98 gave us some incredible Jordan and Pippen versus Stockton and Malone battles. This makes all the difference. With these super teams of old, we as fans were able to have fun and exciting arguments over which team was going to win the championship that year and what young teams were going to take the leap and put themselves in a position to challenge them the next year. What's more, because these eras were so competitive, they also gave us iconic moments. We saw Bird's steal and game-winning assist, Magic's skyhook, Jordan's shrug game, and then Jordan's steal and championship-winning shot against the Jazz. But with this new Golden State super team, things are very different. Even the 2001 Lakers, the team that went 15-1 in the playoffs, went just 56-26 in the regular season, then arguably should have lost to the 2002 Kings the next year if it weren't for some questionable officiating. As for where we are right now, well, we just watched as the best player in the world found himself helpless because no one, not even Michael Jordan, could beat a team with such a severe difference in overall team talent. This is a huge problem, because just looking at the landscape of the NBA, it's clear that no one is going to be able to possibly contend with Golden State in the next 2 years at least. There's no one the Cavs can really add with their salary cap to put them over the top. The Spurs aren't going to be able to seriously compete even if they add Chris Paul. At the end of the day, Golden State's roster is just too good, and while diehard NBA fans are going to watch big games no matter what, the league is going to face some serious problems when it comes to the casual fan. And really, who can blame casual fans for choosing to do things other than watch an NBA game when it's all but decided who will win that year's NBA championship? So thank you guys for watching my thoughts on this whole Kevin Durant situation. I know there's going to be a lot of you that disagree with me, but I hope you could at least see that I tried to keep the salt to a minimum. With that said, remember, if you want a chance to win a free pair of shoes, go follow me on Instagram. Details to that giveaway will be on a post there very soon. And you have a week to enter, so if you're watching this video a few days from now, you're still good. And other than that, if you're new to this channel, I would love if you subscribe. Sometimes I do opinion videos like this, but I also do a lot of basketball history videos, basketball conspiracies, basketball what-ifs. I'm telling you, if you're an NBA fan, I promise you, you will love this channel. And again, thank you guys for 800K. Thank you so much for your support. And as always, have an awesome day, and cue that music.